Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is The Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. Good luck. Just see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is F1 2018, and I'm into week 41 of the Gaming Decathlon competition. This is a Road to Glory series with Williams Racing. We ride on board right now with Daniel Ricciardo while he's out on track in free practice session number 3, and we're at Spielberg in Austria for the Austrian Grand Prix, home of Red Bull Racing. I've wrapped up my practice programs, and they have gone quite well. So well, in fact, that right now I'm fastest here in the session. It's still relatively early in the session, but I'm putting in really, really good times, and I have been consistently hitting purple sectors in sector number 2. I'm only a little off the pace in sector 3, and also just off the pace in sector 1. It's adding up to excellent times here overall.
316.0 kilometers per hour.
And you can see there that I am topping the speed trap right now. I am not on 100% difficulty. If you've been following this series, I'm working my way up. Anytime that I get into the points, I'm increasing the difficulty to adapt as the game goes on. I'm not at that level. I have not had a top performance right now. My highest finish has been 7th place, but in terms of pace, I'm looking pretty good. I just finished the qualifying pace program, and the estimated qualifying position is 5th right now. And that was that time that I just ran a little bit. So we are going to be heading into qualifying now and get ready for the race. But first, there is an update. As I ended the last race weekend, I invested some R&D points, and then actually, as I entered FP3, coming out of FP2, there was another upgrade. So I've got the footage of both of those, and then we're going to head to qualifying. It's time for a new contract negotiation. The contract value versus my value. My value has risen a bit, so I will be able to demand a little bit more, or at least get things set up a little bit easier going forward.
Here we can adjust the terms of our proposal. The more ambitiously we set our targets, the more willing the team will be to give us better perks. We'll have a few chances to suggest a deal, but we need to be careful. If a proposed contract exceeds your value to the team, it will be rejected, and too many attempts will leave us stuck with the original offer.
Alright, so I'm going to try to stick with the qualifying race, team order, team goal, all of that for now. The race bonus, let's see, was I already at a level 2? No, I want a level 3, 75% bonus. I don't need the pit stop efficiency bonus right now. What I want is upgrade speed. And maybe minors. So I'm going to try to get these, that being the difference. That's adding 1 minor, and actually maybe we can keep this one too. See what we get from those.
All right, the terms have been agreed. All that's left is to sign the paperwork. You'll be on this new deal from the next race weekend.
Perfect. With that, we're going to head to the R&D department. And we're going to finish off the quality control once and for all. Done. Now, I have this, but it's going to take 2 weeks. If I change it, it takes 1. I guess that's going to put us at the same time frame either way. So we're looking at weight reduction or weight redistribution. I suppose it doesn't make much of a difference on these. So we're going to finally get our first development failure chances down to 0%, so we will not receive failure. And cheap upgrade at just 250 points. So this chassis is going to improve rapidly. It's way behind right now, but we should catch up to at least the back markers in just a handful of races. With one upgrade already in development and just a week away, a couple practice sessions in, I have plenty for another. I'm going to go ahead and get that done. 0 chance. It's also going to be ready at Britain as my 1 week time limit is now set. So we're going to get double upgrades to the chassis by the very next week. So we're going to start making up some ground here real quick.
Thank you for joining us once again for today's qualifying session. Sit back, relax, and enjoy what we hope will be a fantastic contest for pole position. Looking at this field today, Ant, do you think we're going to see anyone take a chance? Maybe run the harder of the available compounds and save some of the grippy tyres for the race tomorrow?
Well, I'd be surprised in all honesty. It's only the front runners that really have the pace to get away with that. And even then, at the end of the day, it's a big risk. Track position is the most important thing, and it's rarely worth sacrificing for a slightly more optimal strategy in the race, so I doubt we're going to see anyone trying it. I have been wrong before though. We certainly do see some risky decisions every now and then, and it's a gamble that's sometimes worth taking. But if it were me in the car, I would want to be on the fastest tyre for my qualifying lap, without a doubt.
Alright, so that's 4th place after Q1. I went ahead and skipped through. It was just a breeze, so we'll jump right into Q2. I was fastest in Sector 2, as I was in practice. All right. Coming to the end of my first lap here in Q2. And that's fastest lap for now. Just topped by Bottas, though, almost immediately. That definitely should be the kind of time I need to get out of Q2 and into Q3. Track conditions are going to change here momentarily. There is rain on its way. I see it in the sky any minute here. So that might be the only lap here in Q2. And we could be in for a rainy Q3. And here at the time, that would be typical of a second run in Q2. You can see the garage is where all the cars are located. Nobody's out on the track. It's raining in Austria. And that should wrap up Q2 as nobody's going to go faster in these conditions. And that's going to mean P3 for this session. Alright, coming to the end of my first flying lap here in Q3. Got some oversteer on that one, and wow, we're in P3. Okay, so P3 there so far. I think about 5 cars or so have finished their lap, so there's still more cars coming in. After the first run, I'm sitting in P4 behind Vettel, Verstappen, and Hamilton. I do have my purple Sector 2, as I've had throughout practice and qualifying thus far, so it's similar even though I'm on the intermediates. But the track conditions have worsened. I will go out one more time, but it's going to be difficult to better the time. So I've got a pretty good chance of remaining in P4.
10 minutes.
I missed my second run by literally 1 second. Session ended 1 second before I crossed the start-finish line to begin my hot lap, and it turns out that track conditions had actually improved, and everybody shaved off at least 1.5 seconds, if not 2 seconds, off of their first times. And I'm going to end up starting back in P10 as I was the only one not to get a second lap in.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg, and to a circuit that in one form or another has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship. except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost a bet and his beard when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory and a crucial advantage in the championship fight. The Spielberg circuit then is situated 700 meters above sea level, with just 10 corners making up one of the shortest laps of the season. One time around here is a distance of 2.6 miles, with the best overtaking chances into turn 1 or the tight uphill turn 3. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The fence starts from pole position, with Daniel Ricciardo slotting in alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Esteban Ocon, and Perez, Grosjean, Vettel, Magnussen, and the Professor, Sainz, Ericsson, Kimi Raikkonen, and Hulkenberg, Van Dorn, Alonso, Charles Leclerc, and Brendan Hartley. Gasly and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
This is a really good starting position for us. Let's try not to lose it.
Wow, so interesting grid there. Raikkonen outside of the top 10. Quite a few drivers further back than would be expected, even Vettel. My biggest thing really is going to be the start and not having a collision. I need to keep this car in one piece, as that front downforce is going to be really, really important on getting through these turns and keeping that pace the way I want it. And I think I can have a pretty good race weekend here. I definitely predict that I feel that I should be in the top 10. I should get some points today. How high up, I do not know. This could be my highest finish yet, or I could match my best finish of P7. But starting from P10, we're ready to get the Austrian Grand Prix underway. A little bit of traction loss, but a good start otherwise. Close to Perez there, but great start up to P8 through the first turn. Right behind Grosjean. He's already making a move to the inside of Perez, which is about to become the outside. And again, I take advantage and already up into P6 through the first two corners. And the first two corners are my two toughest corners. It is breaking a little early there. It is the first two corners where I tend to get a lot of oversteer. The rest of the track is pretty good for me. It's those first two corners where I do struggle a little bit. I've already got a nice run here on Verstappen. And this seems to be the area where I'm outpacing. I am fastest on this track in Sector 2 of anyone. And Ocon's holding up Verstappen at this point, which is giving me a good chance to be able to potentially get one or the both of them here these next couple laps. Verstappen makes his move on Ocon. Ocon has to check up just a little bit. It makes it easy for me to get around the inside and up into P5. This is fantastic, and I've got a run here on Verstappen. Somebody else is to my outside. It's Ocon. He's trying to retake the position. I have to go tight to the curb, but I'm able to hold it, and he drops in behind me. Little bump there. That's totally my fault. Amazing that I do not get a warning, but I do complete the pass there on Verstappen. And now I have some open track to work with in my good sector. Hopefully I can pull away. Just tad of oversteer there. And there you go. That strong Sector 2 for me is enough to get Verstappen out, I think, more than a second behind me.
Virtual safety car,
Virtual safety car.
Reduce speed immediately and keep a positive delta.
And it's Sorokin who's out of the race.
VSC ending, we're going green. Maintain positive delta until the green flags.
Okay, we're going racing again. I think I lost a little bit of time. There's Sorokin. Verstappen's right up on me. I did. I lost a lot of time. I was too fast. I slowed down and then could not get it back up again. So I made a mistake under the virtual safety car, and it is hurting me as I got Verstappen to the inside, and he's got the perfect track there. I'm going to have to concede the position. So now I'm back behind Verstappen again, back down to P5 due to my own mistake under the virtual safety car. But I can have a look here. I've got the inside, but I couldn't get enough of a nose in there. I do have DRS here now as I head into my best section, so this is a good chance for me. I overshoot it, so I'm back behind Verstappen again. So I complete the pass, but couldn't make it stick. Oof. We do touch there. I had the inside, and I had Verstappen covered, and he still came to the inside, tried to force me out. No sign of damage, though. And he's well behind now after that. So he backed out of it afterward. Now I've lost my gap to the front as I'm quite a ways behind, but I did open up a bit. I'm 4.5 seconds behind Ricardo, and Verstappen's probably not too happy to have me in between. There we go. Nice big gap to Verstappen now. Also a big gap in front though, so I'm racing on my own for a while here. At least to my pit stop, which will be 2 laps from now. Coming in at the end of lap number 8. Alright, into the pits for my one and only pit stop. And I'm coming in from P4. And quick stop, and we're out. No effect. There is still traffic.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
And I come out just behind Verstappen, who already pit. So he made the overcut work. I'm sure that came down largely to my own failures down the pit road. It's a pretty lengthy pit road here, and while I've run it a few laps here and there, it's not something that I'm terribly familiar with.
Seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
But I'm able to re-overtake Verstappen and get that position back. I had a pretty good gap to him, so it's a little bit sad that I lost that. But now it's P12, and I'm behind Hartley. And I should, at least with re-overtaking Verstappen there, I should theoretically be virtually in P4 where I was before. Okay, DRS first time got me right up close to Hartley, but not past him. I'm up to 10th now as somebody was in the pits there. Ooh. Oh! 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 And there's going to be my first flashback as Verstappen slams into me from behind. That was ugly. There we go. So, there's one flashback as Verstappen took me out from behind. I'm able to then overtake Hartley coming out of that corner. So I got up just underneath the gearbox, through the corner, and then was able to do the switchback with that early braking and get underneath him and come out hard. Here, Leclerc now is that next obstacle for me, and it's possible that he could be going into the pits here. So yes, he is. He is going into the pits. So I'm going to have to try to overtake him from the outside. I do lose a little bit through the corner, having to do so as he was down on the apex. And I'm back up into P6 now. Definitely time to back off on the
Bottas has just moved into first place.
DRS, and Bottas up into the lead. Alright, so now I am into P4 where I was before. It's Ricciardo who's still ahead of me. It's Bottas in the lead, which I think makes Hamilton number 2. If I'm correct based on where we all started at the beginning of the race. And Verstappen is hanging in there. He is staying close. I'm not getting away from him right now. I would like to open up a lead. Besides being able to drive away myself, I think the best thing that could happen is Vettel fighting Verstappen for position and slowing each other down, which would give me a chance to pull away.
Our gap to first place is 7.1 seconds.
And there you go, there's the pass. And it's Raikkonen. It is not Vettel. It is Raikkonen who is now into P5, overtaking Verstappen there. And he's already got a run on me. He just tapped me in the gearbox, and he is flying by. He has got all kinds of pace. I still have the inside, though, defending tight. Give him plenty of room. We are side by side, and I've got the DRS, and I'm able to open up. It is still close here. Just about ahead of Raikkonen. Woo! Massive oversteer there. Getting. He's close enough to my gearbox that it actually affected my air on that one. He's gonna get me this time. He's gonna get me this time. There he goes. Oh, I'm still holding the outside. I'm gonna get the DRS. I've got DRS. I'm side by side with Kimi Raikkonen. And he pulls out ahead. He pulls out ahead. I'm back to the inside though. All the way down to first gear. I park it on the apex. Force him out. I still get DRS as I was behind in the time. Oh, what luck was that? What luck was that? Still here, hanging on just about to the position. P4, Raikkonen has got so much more pace than I do. It's lap 16. It is so late in this race. I could lose both positions. I could lose one position. Or can I do it? Can I hang on? At this point, it is desperate. My job defending here. It's not looking good. He's got me on the outside. I'm going to be able to keep him. There we go. There we go. Park it through the apex again. I'm in overtake mode. I'm in rich mode. Oh, yes. And Verstappen is up beside Raikkonen. I'm going to hang on to it. I will hang on to it. I've got this. P4, Raikkonen, Verstappen still fighting behind me for position.
Hamilton has just taken the lead.
Oh, and Hamilton takes the lead here right at the end. Probably from Bottas, presumably. Yes, it is from Bottas because it's Ricciardo in P3.
We pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon.
And there you go. Hamilton with the win. Bottas second. Ricciardo is third. And that's P4! Yes!
You did really well.
Sorry about the scream there. I am so excited. P4. Best finish ever. Definitely not anywhere near the podium, but the fact that I held off a hard-charging Raikkonen and a challenging Daniel Ricciardo throughout that race, holding them off, was absolutely huge for me. And did it clean. There was only contact, what, once in that whole race?
And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is.
And it only took me that single flashback, and the flashback was for Ricciardo slamming into my gearbox, not for any mistake that I made. So that race felt so good.
Here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes then are on top today.
Big 1-2 for Mercedes, as they have struggled in this series so far. They are a bit down in the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship at this point. We'll see what kind of difference this one makes, what sort of impact it has on that championship.
And after this round of the World
Daniel
Championship,
Ricciardo in
here's how
P3.
things look in the
Raikkonen
drivers'
hangs
table.
on
The
for
lead at the top has
P5
come
and
down
Max
after a poor
Verstappen
result
in
for our points
P6
leader.
and
Moving on to the driver
Vettel
of the
all the
day
way
then,
down
Anthony
in
Davidson. Who would you go for?
P9.
Well, I have to give it to Kimi Raikkonen. Consistency, good battle, sensible driving. He can be pleased with that performance today.
On to the Constructors then. The lead at the top comes down after a strong weekend from the challenging pack. It was also a strong Grand Prix from Haas F1 this weekend. Fantastic work from the American team to move themselves further up the table. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Huge jump in points. I went from 13 to 25 with that finish, so I nearly doubled my drivers and our constructors' points, as Sorokin has not been in the points at all. And with that, it is so tight now. Renault a little bit further away at 40, but Haas to myself, just 9 points separate 5th through 8th in the constructors. But with that finish, that excellent finish of mine in P4, this is going to make a huge difference going forward, as now I'm going to have to move up, what, 7 difficulty AI points. So that's going to be a big change as I go into the next race, as I have to increase it by 7 after that performance. That's going to be tough for me to get back into the points, but with a rapid improving chassis soon to come, hopefully I can string together some more points before the end of the season.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it?
Let's see. Maybe we should expect more. I gotta do that showmanship every once in a while, even though it's not what I believe.
The field during the race.
So easy when the car handles like this. Yes. Chassis department. I'll take every boost I can get to the chassis department right now. Especially as the bulk of our points are going to be spent there in the short term. I will begin focusing on the aero department as well, but I'm going to do those factory upgrades before I actually start spending the points on the car itself. Big day there, and relatively large leads now, especially against Sorokin, but even against Ericsson, I'm plus 5 points. So a good chance of winning both of those rivalries in 2 or 3 races. But again, I'm about to see a massive increase to the AI difficulty, which does affect the practice programs as well as race day. And we'll see. I've never been up in the mid 80s. I've been in the 80s. I've driven in the low 80s, but I've never been to the mid 80s in difficulty as of yet in any version of this game before. So we'll see how much of a challenge that creates for me. Definitely tune into the next race to see what happens with that. But big bonuses today. 508 points brought in, so that doubles the total to over 1,000 now. And Williams very, very happy with that performance. The only reason why I give those showmanship answers at all is because that's what the team prefers. For me, I would always go sportsmanship.
That's a great result. You did really well. I don't think we can have any complaints with that performance.
Okay, so quick look at the R&D. I have two developments that are going to be ready to go in the next race. That'll help counter the rise in AI difficulty. It'll make the car a little bit easier to drive. And that's going to be a good place for it, as Britain is a tough track. Silverstone is not the easiest one for me to drive, and I didn't do terribly well at Silverstone in the 2017 game. But I can't spend anything on upgrades there right now. They'll both be done. It's two minor upgrades. That's 500 points. If I do get through practice programs, I'll get those pretty quick. So I will make my first investment in the aero department, going after our efficiency first and foremost. That's 1,000 points. So we get that going. All right. Well, with that, the car doesn't look good now, but it's going to look a little bit better as I head into next week with my first two and 0% chance of failure, so they both should succeed. And with my best performance ever, we head to just about the halfway point of the season. We head to the United Kingdom, the home of most of the teams, at Silverstone. But that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.